Hi, I'm Jeremy Crosby.
And I'm Nick Boucher. We're your hosts for the program that's all about your city, Talking Fitchburg.
Every weekday, we pull together the news, events, and information you need to stay on top of what's happening in the city of Fitchburg.
Find Talking Fitchburg on cable TV, Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, and our live stream on the web. Plus, you can find all our headlines and stories on Facebook, YouTube, and our video on demand service. This is your city.
Keep up with Talking Fitchburg and the issues affecting you and your neighbors.
Want to know what's happening in your city? Get Notify Me messages from the City of Fitchburg. Visit fitchburgwi.gov on your computer or mobile device and select the big Notify Me button on the left. Enter your email and/or phone number, whichever is best for you to get notifications. Scroll down the list and select all the topics you're interested in to receive email or text messages about. You'll be notified every time one of your topics is updated. Sign up for Notify Me, one more way to keep up with your Fitchburg government.
All right, well, thank you everyone for being here. It is 5:30 p.m. and I'm going to call this meeting to order. Our first order of business is approval of minutes. Has everyone here gotten a chance to review the previous minutes? Lovely.
Yes.
Any questions, amendments, discussion? Can I have a motion to approve the minutes? Moved by Mr. Hamill. Any? Oh, okay. Hamilton, I'm so sorry.
I am now. I move the minutes be approved.
Moved by Mr. Hamilton. Are there any seconds, please?
I can second that.
Oh, amazing. Thank you so much. And we have a motion on the table to approve those minutes. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Amazing. Motion carries unanimously. Public appearances for non-agenda items. I do not have any slips. Is there any? Okay. I see the shaking of the head. Amazing. Moving on to agenda item number 4. Agenda review. Are there any changes to the agenda that we need to make? Lovely. All right. Well then. Agenda item number 5 is our Healthy Neighborhood Grant Program application presentations. So before these get started, I do personally want to make a statement saying that I have been heavily involved with volunteering with one of the applicants this year. And so as such, I will personally not be participating in the discussion portion of deciding who gets money. That is the discussion next month. So our wonderful Vice Chair Sharif has agreed to chair that meeting. Thank you very much. And this is not a legal conflict of interest, yet I want the City of Fitchburg government to appear very clean. So thank you everyone for understanding. Okay. We are 7 minutes before anyone is scheduled to start. Do you, Jessica, have any, staff, have any comments that you want to make beforehand?
No, the one thing I will say is that discussion about the grants will happen next month. So at the end of the meeting, just make sure that there's no discussion about who will be receiving funding.
Lovely. Well, I want to thank all of our committee members and any representatives from our service providers who have braved the weather and come out here. Also, anybody who is over Zoom. And today we do have 19 applicants scheduled to talk with us. And we have, I think it was about $130,000. $128,000. So that being said, we really appreciate every service provider providing services to our really important residents here. And unfortunately, we're not going to be able to provide funding to everyone. I think that might be maybe a first that we have so many more applicants than we do money this year. But we are just really excited to see what we can help with and what all of our service providers, the really important work that our service providers here in Fitchburg are doing to help our residents. Every representative will have 3 to 4 minutes for their presentation. There is a timer that will be counting down during your presentation that is set to 3 minutes and 30 seconds. So, just to kind of help you stay on track. And I will let you know when 4 minutes is up. And unfortunately, I will be cutting you off at 4 minutes because I want to make sure that we have enough time for questioning and then stay on track for our next applicants. So I appreciate everybody's willingness to stay on time. And with that, do any of our other members want to say anything? I think if our first applicant is here, we could just start early. Okay, lovely. Our first applicant who is presenting is Active Youth Wisconsin Try for Schools. If you are here, that would be lovely for you to come up and make a presentation. Thank you so much.
I am here over Zoom. Were slides going to be pulled up or no?
Okay, we're seeing them in person, but maybe not over Zoom.
Oh, no, that's okay. I kind of have my order down here.
Yeah.
So if somebody can just confirm what slide I'm on as we're going about, that would be great.
Give us another
but I could go ahead and
10 seconds and our wonderful representatives here will make sure that is happening.
Oh, look at that.
Perfect.
Awesome.
All right.
Let me know when I'm set to go.
I'm going to start now. Thank you.
All right. Hi, my name is Amanda Merrick. I'm the director of Active Youth Wisconsin. Active Youth Wisconsin, we really champion the holistic development of youth through innovative movement-based programs that address both physical and mental wellness. We were formerly known as Try for Schools. We actually transitioned to Active Youth Wisconsin in December of 2024 with the goal of expanding our impact. Our mission is simply to create accessible opportunities for kids to be active, really helping them become the best versions of themselves, both mentally and physically, while teaching them about work ethic and resilience and how to build these positive peer interactions. Our focus neighborhoods are Belmar Renaissance, North Fitchburg Road, and Verona Road West. And our funding request is for $15,000 for our after-school programs, which are training teams and Minds in Motion. You could go ahead. So quick project overview. Our 2 core programs really address these critical gaps in youth development. Training teams is an 8-week after-school program that prepares kids for a multi-sport event using swimming, biking, and running. The comprehensive program builds crucial life skills like goal setting and teamwork and confidence. Minds in Motion, which is our fall program, is a 6-week program that combines running and mindfulness, and it helps kids build endurance and mental resilience while they work to complete a 5K. We found that these programs are especially crucial now. During COVID, a study showed that there was a 20% decrease in physical activity amongst kids, but there was also a 84% increase in screen time. And there's been several studies, especially a large one by the CDC, that demonstrated that just 45 minutes of physical activity every day will significantly reduce any symptoms of anxiety and depression, which is really the type of engagement that our programs provide. And we understand that physical activity, it's limited in priority neighborhoods. So we're removing common barriers through our no questions asked financial aid policy. You guys can go ahead and go to the next. So we found that really we kind of align with all 4 of the evaluation areas. For education enhancement, physical activity helps extend learning beyond academics. Life skills, we're working on those goal settings and achievements. Access to care, it's the no questions financial aid policy that 40% of our participants use, and it's over $30,000 in financial aid we give every year. And then really our programs are designed to build community. You could go ahead. I won't be able to hit on everything, but our main outcomes are youth empowerment, community building, and then our equitable access, which again is through equipment donations, financial aid, and choosing locations where they're needed, the programs are needed. I mean, that should be it. Spend through that, but.
Thank you so much. And thank you for keeping to a wonderful time. I'm going to open it up to questions from our panel. Okay, well, I had a question about your data collection method was surveys, and I was curious about the participation rate in those surveys. You mentioned in your application there was like youth development surveys, guardians get surveys, school partners get surveys, participant interviews. So yeah, if you could just talk a little bit about participation rate and maybe anything tips you have for like getting a higher participation rate. Yes, thank you.
Yes. So first, it's actually, we ask a registration question of the parents, that basically just says like, are you willing to provide outcomes? And we've found that like parents are really excited about the program. And so the good majority of people, I want to say it was probably like 80% of parents clicked yes, that they would be interested in providing outcomes. And then after the program is over, we go direct to those parents, send individual emails, and ask them to, basically give feedback on certain areas of the program. For our teacher participation, the teachers are required to give that feedback. So we have really great working relationships with the teachers, who I should say, the teachers are also the coaches for the actual program. And so that's kind of part of, I guess you could say, their job is to give that feedback. So there might not be many tips there, minus just require it. And then the specific participant interviews, that was actually a study that Sam Houston State University in Texas did for us. And so we actually interviewed 12 full families before and after the program. And they'll actually be presenting that study here, and I think the next, I want to say next month already.
That's really wonderful. Thank you for that answer. Any other questions from committee members? Yes.
Hi there, I have one. Thank you for the presentation. As I looked at this, there's 300 kids in Fitchburg that are going to benefit from this program. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay, and you
And
have.
that's,
go ahead.
Go ahead. I'd say it's 300 is what we're estimating right now, just because our programs are kicking up in the spring and then they're kicking up in the fall. But based on talking to teachers and the schools that we're in, it should be 300.
Okay, and you hit my second question. Thank you. Is that your budget's $102,000? You're asking us for 15. You've already got $63,000 raised, roughly. Where is that money come from? That you've already raised.
The money does come from. I'm sorry. Say that last part.
Where is the $63,000 you've already raised coming from? What's the source?
Yeah, it does. Part of it is coming from entry fees of kids that do pay for the program, even though 40% do not. We have a great donor base that really supports our programs. Many parents of kids who have gone through our programs will continue to donate and kind of become, I guess you could say, like lifetime supporters of Active Youth Wisconsin. And then we do get a grant from American Family, the Steve Stricker Foundation. And then a couple other like smaller grants like Madison South Rotary, we've received before the Madison Sports Commission. So really it's we do what we can to combine everything together.
That's fine. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. We are at time for your presentation, so thank you so much. And we will move on to Allied Food Pantry, if you are here. Yes, please.
And this is forward? Oh, thanks. I've already messed up. Just let me know when you're ready. Okay. Hi, my name is Janice Ferguson, and I'm on the leadership team of the Allied Food Pantry. Thanks for having me here today and for considering us for this grant. And thank you very much for your support last year. We really appreciate it. So the name of our program is Building Community Through Food. Who are we? We're a volunteer-run food pantry serving the Allied Duns Marsh neighborhood since 1998 and surrounding areas. We offer fresh produce, meat, eggs, milk, and non-perishables in our pantry. We are located in the Allied Boys and Girls Club at 4619 Genoan Road in Fitchburg, and we're open Wednesdays from 10 to 12 and to 6 to 7:30. We are also a hub for service providers to meet and offer services to our residents. And we're a place for neighbors to meet, have a coffee, participate with their kids in story time, maybe try some embroidery or learn to garden. So we serve the Allied Duns Marsh neighborhood, as I mentioned, and we also serve surrounding areas in 53711, 13, and 19. And those encompass 3 priority neighborhoods, which are the Belmar Renaissance on the Park, Verona West, and North Fish Hat Tree Road. What is our program? Our program mainly is food distribution. The Allied Duns Marsh neighborhood and surrounding areas is a food desert. A lot of our families in the neighborhood walk, and there is not a lot of food provisions in our area. So we are essential for the residents that we serve. All of the funds that we receive from this grant will go towards purchasing food that's important for health and wellness of our residents, and that's also culturally inclusive based on our quarterly surveys. And our efforts, though, will also go towards community building and resilience by promoting resident leadership in our pantry and in the area of food security in general, and also offering opportunities in our pantry for community building and connection to community resources. So what does that mean? So that means things like this year we worked with many partners in our neighborhood and our residents to do a Food is Medicine event, which consisted of educational workshops and a large community dinner and potluck. We also invite our providers to attend our pantry, and we have our community health workers from the Allied Wellness Center, our JFF social worker, who come each and every Wednesday. And I was speaking with the community health workers today, and they talked to me about how 75% of their referrals come from being at the food pantry. So folks who need food also need many other social determinants of health, and it's a real essential hub. There aren't a lot of other reliable daily gathering places in the neighborhood where folks can receive resources, and so we are that reliable place where they can show up and there are other providers present in the room to assist them. We also have outside providers like Centro Hispano or Safe Communities or Metro Transit, or now our libraries are coming to provide story time and to inform our families about literacy opportunities. But there's a large number of providers that come to our food pantry on a regular basis. Today we had Public Health Madison-Dane County and reproductive health there, and as well as the library. By the numbers, we anticipate serving over 1,000 unique households and 4,000 unique people in 2025. This year alone, by growing, we have had 575 new households in 2024 alone. That really just illustrates the real demand for food security or the impact of food insecurity.
Thank you so much for the presentation. I know that was really short, but that was 4 minutes. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
All right, so I will open it up for questions from committee members. Well, I had a question.
Yeah.
I was looking at the budget and it was kind of interesting. Maybe I was misreading it, but it looked like last year, 2024, there was $1,000 budgeted for meat and no money budgeted for vegetables. And then this year it's like $26,000 for meat and $50,000 for vegetables. I'm so curious if you could tell me more about the changes in your budget.
Absolutely, and that was the last piece that I didn't quite get to in the presentation. So because there was an end of COVID CARES funding, and so the Farm to Food Bank ended, where Second Harvest was offering small pantries, especially who benefited from free to us produce. Last year, the Allied Food Pantry had the privilege of receiving over $100,000 of fresh farm produce from local farmers. This year, we received zero. Last year, we received free to us milk, eggs, and meat. This year, meat is probably going to cost us, I think in our budget, we underestimated it. It depends on how much meat we might receive from Second Harvest for free if there's meat that comes in as recovery food. But this year, we may spend up to $50,000 in meat if we serve folks like we did last year. And eggs and milk are now a cost to us as well. And eggs actually are so expensive, they're unavailable from Second Harvest. So the food picture has really changed, and that's the number that I have on there. 36,000 pounds of fresh local produce is what we distributed in our neighbor last year. So this year we're thinking outside the box. I have a partnership with a local farmer, and she and I are both raising funds to go towards purchasing local produce. So that's what's happening. We're having to think outside the box all the time. And this lack of funding from Second Harvest really impacts small pantries a lot because we don't have the same ability through storage or distribution ability. Like we're there for one day and we're in a small space. We can't like partner with 6 grocery stores and go with a refrigerated truck and go pick up recovery food. So whereas another pantry may get a lot of meat as recovery meat from groceries, we have to purchase unless we can find another option. So it's really expensive. But we are an essential kind of resource for the neighborhood.
Thank you. One quick question for you.
Yeah.
While I'm looking at your project proposal here, under your project outcome objectives, here you have your proposed members, Fitchburg residents, listed as equal for that of non-Fitchburg residents. Is that an approximate number? And could you give a clarification to the percentage of your participants who are actual Fitchburg residents?
Yeah, it is an approximate number. We use pantry software to track our folks. Now with TFAP not being, they're asking us not to demand from our families that we receive an ID or that they have to give us an address. We ask them voluntarily for that information. So our data may not be perfect. And sometimes our families sometimes don't know if they're in Madison or Fitchburg. And sometimes they don't even know their full address. And so we have to do a little bit of estimating. But we do serve geographically. We serve a very similar area in Fitchburg and Madison, and we do find that they're very similar numbers in our database. But I wouldn't say that we have 100% accurate numbers.
Any other questions? Wonderful. Thank you so much for coming and presenting. Okay. And I did change the timer to 4 minutes, so that will be maybe more useful. Is anyone from the Boys and Girls Club here for a presentation? Why, thank you. Come on up. All right.
Okay, well, thank you for having us. We are super excited to be applying for this grant again that has greatly benefited our program in past years. So we are super excited. Are we going to have the slides up on for Boys and Girls Club, or we can do it without them as well? We have them in front of us. Okay, well, I can just get started. So the Boys and Girls Club, what we do is our clubs provide innovative programs designed to empower youth to excel in school, to become good citizens, and to lead healthy, productive lives. And really what we do that through is our focus on health and wellness and mentorship. And today we're really going to be focusing on the mentorship side of what Boys and Girls Club does. So we are an organization that serves from 6 weeks old all the way up until 24, beyond when they're in high school. We have been able to, in the past year, with the support of the H&I grant, we have been able to serve over 5,000 families through community and the youth and teens that are in our programming as well. Looking at our proposal for this upcoming year, we are looking to shift our focus due to funding, shift our focus to focus on the mentorship in our program. So our program is a program that every day our youth and teens are coming in and we are providing a meal for them. This year, we are looking to serve 71 of our youth in our program that are in our priority neighborhoods in Fitchburg. So our first outcome objective is that really that mentoring piece. And really what we are looking to do is provide opportunities for our youth to explore different opportunities, support them. And we know with our mentoring program, what we can do is by providing a meal every day. If you're coming in for our mentoring program and we can't provide you a meal, we can't get you to our other outcome impacts, which what we see through Boys and Girls Club is that we say consistent attendance, which is what we are saying will have our outcomes, is if you are here once a week, which is 52 days a year or more, then we are able to see the outcomes that are shown across Boys and Girls Clubs across the country, that they're doing better in school, they're getting in trouble less, they have those social emotional skills because they are with their staff and growing in our mentoring program. They're able to work with other youth in their programs as well. So we are also, our next outcome objective is to serve 20 of our teens and youth to introduce them in partnership with our McKenzie Regional Workforce Center to new career opportunities. So that means that we will be transporting them to provide career opportunities for them to explore different skilled trades opportunities within our program, so that we are not only supporting them emotionally, providing them with a meal every day, but also they are growing in having different opportunities to explore different careers as well. So another objective that we will have is that we will also be partnering with our Fitchburg Police Department, which we have continued to do in the past, to increase that through our mentorship program, increase that comfortability with law enforcement, because it's so important for youth and teens to be in their communities and know that if they need somebody, they can go to law enforcement as well. So in the past, they have come into our programs and ran programming with teens and youth, where sometimes they're just coming in to hang out and really build those opportunities to just grow with them or play some basketball. Do those sorts of things that just feel very not heavy. We have traditionally relied on funding through our, one of our grants through our parent company, BGCA. It's our Boys and Girls of America program. And that funding has come from the Office of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention Program. And because we know with shifting political landscapes, that has actually been frozen, that funding. And that funding we really heavily rely on for our food security, for our youth every day in our programs, and for staffing and other funding areas of our program. So
that is time. So
Yep.
if you have like
I
one more thought that
apologize.
you want to
Yep.
finish, but that
It'll probably come up
yeah.
in questions. So.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Thank you so much. I'll open it up for questions. Well, I had a question. I appreciate that in the application materials, you provided us with a really detailed expense audit report, I think it was. And that was actually really interesting to read. From analyzing it, I did notice that there seems to be a lot of overhead with management, fundraising expenses. And I just was wondering if there are, any kind of things that you want to like say about, how important it is to, have this kind of overhead for this particular type of service, or like I don't know more about it, but I don't know if you can comment anything about that.
Yeah, so Boys and Girls Club of Dane County is a very large nonprofit, right? And we have many pillars of programs. So Allied, as an example, who's seeking the funding through this grant, actually runs a deficit every year, right? So we start over at zero, and we rely heavily on partners like you, right? Continuing to fund our programs and ensure that we're able to do impact. The overhead, that comes with administrative, like HR department, IT, those pieces, even some of my role in supporting multi programs. But Allied, that budget is about $450,000 a year. We start from zero, and we build that out. We diversify our funding within our centers. An example at Allied, right? We have membership fees, which are very, very low. On average, $25 during an academic year, $30. As well as we, accept Wisconsin shares. We rely heavily on the community to support our programs and filling those gaps where funding comes short, like Aubrey talked about the OJJDP funding, right, being on hold. That diversifying our funding is very critical, right, and making sure that we're able to support the necessities. And that's another reason that we're here today, because our food service program every day, that's a non-negotiable for us. We need to ensure that our youth have, healthy foods to eat. The other piece is ensuring that we have caring adults that are there every day for them. And what we've asked for in this proposal is, to help a little bit with some personnel costs, supporting our snack program so we can continue to focus on the mentorship and relationship building for our youth. Did that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much for presenting.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Bike Fitchburg. So let's see if there are slides. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I am wrong. Next up, we have Big Brothers, Big Sisters.
Good.
All right, thank you so much. We are ready for you.
Cool. Well, thank you for your support in previous years, and thanks for the opportunity for speaking in front of you all today. I'm Simon, Program Director at Big Brothers Big Sisters of Dane County. So we're requesting $15,000 under the bucket of youth mentoring, and we intend to serve all priority neighborhoods listed. We are hoping to have served 44 youth that live in the priority neighborhoods. That number has 33 existing littles, with the intention to create at least 11 new matches in the priority neighborhoods. This will result in positive change in long-term education and economic and socio-emotional prospects. There was a recent Big Brothers Big Sisters of America economic impact report that was released. Youth with mentors are 20% more likely to enroll in college. They earn 15% more over a lifetime. They are 52% less likely to skip school, 46% less likely to begin using illegal drugs. And this breaks down a little bit more about the outcomes. I'll highlight the engagement offerings there. We put 2 events on per month. Those are free for littles, for bigs. All of the programming in our community-based mentoring and site-based mentoring programs is free. And we have an event tonight. It's Match and Mingle. It's like people bingo. You know, you go find someone else who likes X, find someone who's been matched for 1 month, find someone who's been matched for 2 months, just to get people building a few more bonds with each other. We are in the middle of a big draft where we're intentionally leaning on the Green Bay NFL draft and using some of the national resources to try and recruit more men. We are always looking to recruit more men. We conduct surveys, as you know, Youth Outcome Survey. It's a standardized national survey worked on by experts in the field. If you're a Big Brothers Big Sisters affiliate, you have to use their surveys. And they're designed to measure those different areas, and they produce the outputs that I mentioned earlier. Any questions?
Thank you so much. I'll open it up for questions. I may be wrong about this, but when I was looking at your budget, I was slightly confused. I thought that the way I was reading it, the 2025 budget is still $77,000 in the red. Maybe I'm incorrect about that. But is there a plan for kind of shifting that budget around, or tell me about that?
We've communicated that topic with the board numerous times. We have cash reserves. We are trying to spread out rehiring processes as well throughout the year. We had a similar number last year, and we were able to beat that number, still in the red, but still, this year it would be a similar story. We still have the cash reserves, but intentional opportunities to come up and trying to go for some bigger one-time donations as well to cover those costs.
Thank you. Other questions? Well, I really appreciate you coming here and presenting.
Thank you.
All right, and we are very much ahead of schedule. Is Bike Fitchburg here already? Oh, amazing. All right, come on up.
I don't have a presentation. What we have is our brochure, which I think is very much more concise. Good evening, everyone. My name is Mark Wilkerson. This is Steve Arnold. Today we're excited to present the project proposal from Bike Fitchburg for the 2025 Healthy Neighborhoods Grant Program. Bike Fitchburg works to make biking of all kinds easier, safer, more fun, and equitable for all members of our community. Bike Fitchburg is a 501c3 nonprofit, all-volunteer organization. Our project, Cycling Without Age Fitchburg, focuses on bringing the joy of cycling to seniors and mobility-challenged individuals in Fitchburg by providing free trishaw rides throughout Fitchburg, utilizing local neighborhoods and our extensive bicycle and multi-use paths. The organization's motto, "The Right to Wind in Your Hair," encapsulates its mission, which aims to combat social isolation, promote mental well-being, foster intergenerational connections, and promote social inclusion. Cycling Without Age is a worldwide nonprofit organization founded in 2012 in Copenhagen, Denmark. They operate through a network of local chapters, And we have volunteer pilots who are trained to operate the trishaws, offer free rides, enabling passengers to explore their neighborhoods and enjoy the outdoors. The organization has grown significantly since its inception, with active chapters in 41 countries. As of January this year, Cycling Without Age has over 3,500 chapter locations, 6,000 trishaws, and 43,000 trained cycle pilots. We take pride that Oshkosh, Wisconsin was the location for the very first chapter in the United States. Cycling Without Age has received widespread recognition and support for its innovative support to improving lives. They encourage communities to start their own chapters and become part of the global movement. Their headquarters offer resources and support to help ensure new chapters achieve a strong start and successful ongoing operations. The success of Cycling Without Age can be attributed to its 5 guiding principles: generosity, slow cycling, storytelling, relationships, and without age. These principles emphasize the importance of taking time to enjoy the journey, sharing stories, and building connections, promoting a positive outlook. This project will benefit each of the 4 healthy neighborhoods identified in this grant. Fitchburg's commercial and recreation destinations are well connected to the 4 healthy neighborhood areas by an interconnected network of bicycle and multi-use paths, which will provide a myriad of interesting destinations for trishaw rides by healthy neighborhood residents. With one trishaw, we estimate the capacity to be able to provide service up to 2,000 riders per season. This is obviously dependent on location and how many riders you have in the one location and whether you have to pick up and transport to a different. Our total project budget for this phase is $18,685. We're requesting $15,000 for the purchase of our first trishaw. So far, we've raised $640 in this effort. For personnel expenses, our project relies entirely on volunteers. There are no personnel expenses. Outcomes, these funds will enable us to purchase our first trishaw and the ability to provide this free service to our community. Obviously looking for 100% rider experience satisfaction, trying to achieve 100% volunteer satisfaction, and maximize trishaw utilization so we have the best utilization of a trishaw. We are confident that Cycling Without Age Fitchburg will bring significant positive changes to our community, promoting healthier lifestyles and stronger neighborhood bonds. Cycling Without Age is a heartwarming and impactful initiative that brings joy, freedom, and social connection throughout the simple act of cycling. By fostering intergenerational relationships and promoting a positive view of aging, Cycling Without Age has made a significant difference in the lives of people around the world. The organization's continued growth and success demonstrate the power of community and the importance of ensuring that everyone, regardless of age or ability, could experience wind in their hair.
Thank you.
Your support in considering our application is greatly appreciated. Thank you.
I will open it up for questions.
Thank you so much for your presentation. My curiosity is just around any sort of pre-existing relationships that you have within the priority neighborhoods. This is a new program, correct? Cycling Without Age?
Cycling Without Age is a new program.
Well, 2012 internationally. We have had Cycling Without Age visit us for a community introduction at the community center. We have also had the trishaws that the Wisconsin Bike Fed owns, which are based in Madison, out last May for our ride to work with the mayor ride. And we had one resident from the Courtyard Assisted Living on that ride, both trishaws, but they had one resident, one guest riding with us. As far as connections to the healthy neighborhoods areas, Bike Fitchburg is one of our pillars is equity. And we know that if we have a bike rodeo someplace, that the affluent driving, homeowning families in our city will find us, and we hold all of our bike rodeos. These are safety skills workshops for kids and their parents. We hold them all in the Healthy Neighborhoods areas. We have participated in a couple of bike giveaways in our Healthy Neighborhood areas. We have one coming up in April with a bike rodeo. We worked when we had an outreach librarian who was working with the Leopold Community School. We worked on a neighborhood ride that we took kids from Leopold parking lot down our path system to the library. The outreach librarian had a snack and a program, and then we rode them back. So we have many, many programs now. People think of the Cycling Without Age as a bicycling program, but it's really an intergenerational relationship building program that bicycles are a tool. And so all the pilots are trained, of course, to drive the trishaws safely, but they're also trained to bring out conversations in the riders and ask them what they're seeing and evoking the stories of their lives and so on. So we feel it's right on for your mission.
Thank you.
I also have a question kind of similar to that. I think that this is such a creative, option, especially for our senior citizens here in Fitchburg. One thing that I do know about our priority neighborhoods is that we don't have a lot of seniors living in our priority neighborhoods. In fact, the demographics that we looked at explains that we have a lot of youth under the age of 5 in our West Verona Road neighborhood, but seniors that didn't really pop out in any of our neighborhoods. And so I would love for you to speak just a little, two more minutes maybe, about how, how this is going to benefit specifically our residents in the priority neighborhoods. Just a little more. Thank you.
Sure. One thing that Mark didn't have time to mention was that when we get our first trishaw and we are starting to give rides in the neighborhood, this attracts a lot of attention, and it turns out that many chapters have found that getting their second trishaw is very easy compared to fundraising for their first one. But one of the reasons that we don't have so many seniors living in our HNI neighborhoods is because there's not good support systems for them. Our senior center is out of reach for many of those residents. So we do have seniors moving out of there. We would like to provide that service to those who do remain, to make it a more comfortable and interactive place to be instead of being marooned in their apartments with no services.
Thank you. I was also wondering, when you talked about, going to Leopold, was there a lot of excitement, or like tell me about the kids' reactions to
the neighborhood ride?
Yes.
Oh, the kids loved it. We always, whether it's a bike rodeo or a neighborhood ride, or it's always difficult to get the word out. And so one of the things we've done is we ride around the neighborhood looking for kids, and we get them this. Look, we've got ice cream bars and free rides and stunt things that you can ride your bike over and stuff like that. And we give away lights, and we give away snap bracelets and so on. Awesome. And so promotion is always hard. We have some Spanish speakers, at the Leopold neighborhood where we need to get everything out in 2 languages. And
thank you so much. That's time.
All right. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for your presentation, for the pamphlets, and for coming today. Next up, we have Badger Prairie Needs Network, and I see our friend on Zoom. I'm going to reset our timer and then give me a moment, and you can start.
Well, hello, this is Tracy Burton, and I'm the Food Pantry Director for Badger Prairie Needs Network, and I'm pleased to be presenting to you for, I think, the 3rd time. We've received this grant for 4 years, and if you could shoot up the next slide. We are a food pantry. We're based in Verona. We serve all of Dane County. And in 2024, we distributed 2.3 million pounds of food, which is the equivalent of 1.9 million meals. Those meals went to 87,000 cumulative visitors and 12,000 unique visitors, of which 32% lived in Fitchburg, and 80% of the Fitchburg residents lived in the priority neighborhoods. We do serve about 34% children, and almost 70% are Spanish speaking. We are the closest large choice pantry. We're open 5 days a week and offer a grocery style shopping experience for our guests. And we are 100% volunteer run. We don't have any volunteer or any paid staff at all. We do it all with volunteers. If you could shoot the next slide, that'd be great. Our grant request this year is for our project Healthy Solutions for Ending Hunger, which is to keep our food pantry operating the way that we have in the past. We have requested $15,000 to apply against a budget of $443,434. So we have a pretty large food budget this year. And of course, the program area for the Healthy Neighborhoods program that we're addressing is food security. Next slide, please. We have some concerns in 2025, as all food pantries do and a lot of other nonprofits do. The number of people coming to us is up. We're up 29% year to date, so that's January and February over the same months of last year. So the need, the amount of food insecurity in our area is just ever growing. At the same time, and I know all of you experience this, food prices continue to rise. USDA predicts a 3.4% increase in the cost of food this coming year. And if anybody's bought eggs, you know where a lot of that's coming from. At the same time, government support is declining. Dane County has had a CARES program for the last several years that has fed a lot of money into the food network, the food bank, food pantry network. Those funds have all been depleted and they have not allocated any further funds for food pantries or food banks. At the same time, the federal government is threatening to decrease SNAP benefits, which are commonly known as food stamps. So the people coming to us that are food insecure, who now provide part of their food through food stamps, will have less ability to purchase their own groceries. Next slide, please. Our project overview is we are serving all 4 of the priority neighborhoods. Like I said, we're located in Verona, and we get people from all 4 of the Fitchburg neighborhoods. If you could go to the next slide. Our project overview is basically to supplement the food that we get at no cost, which is about 80% of our food we get at no cost. It used to be 90%, so we're now buying twice as much percentage of food. And we supply approximately 25 pounds per person per visit for food. And our outcome is to create a healthier community that has less educational problems, less health problems, and overall poverty in the area. And I think I hit it.
Yes. Thank you so much. Perfect timing. All right. I will open it up to questions now.
I have a question. No, go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, are you, so people are going to your facility in Verona to pick up food, right?
That's correct.
How are they getting there?
They're getting there by car. We're not located close to public transportation, unfortunately. And so most of the people that do come to us come by private car. Some come through a shared bus system, or they carpool. So we'll get multiple families per car. And then we do have some trusted partners, school social workers and social workers from senior centers that shop for people who are housebound, who can't otherwise pick up groceries.
All right, I just wonder because we know that about 40% of Fitchburg residents do not drive. And getting to Verona from Fitchburg is a bit of a battle, I'm sure, for some of them.
Yeah. Yeah, we are on the north side of Verona, but it's not walkable from Fitchburg in any sense. And generally, even people that do walk to food pantries have difficulty carrying the amount of groceries that they get in a weekly or every other week visit. But you're right, it is difficult to walk to us.
Thank you so much for your presentation. My question, I think, has come up in the past, but I just wanted to clarify, related to the requirements for new shoppers. So the requirements stand that they need to bring some form of ID in order to shop?
Yes, they need to bring some kind of proof that they live in Dane County. We serve homeless people without any identification or proof of address because they can't prove that they don't live anywhere. But for residents that live in an apartment or a home, they need to provide some form of address, and that could be a utility bill, a water bill, lease, mortgage statement, and driver's license or ID with that address on it. And then we do ask for identification for each family member, and that can be a birth certificate, a passport, a letter from a school social worker or the school office, any kind of thing to just prove that that person exists.
Thank you.
And we're open to all Dane County residents, but like I said, over 30% come from Fitchburg.
And you're not seeing that becomes a barrier for folks? It seems like folks are usually able to provide some sort of proof of residence?
Yes, we haven't seen it to be a barrier. That said, we do offer TFAP food, which is the Federal Relief Program, the Federal Emergency Food Access Program. And that program, by law, we provide food to people with no documentation whatsoever. They just come in, say they live in Wisconsin, and we provide them food.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right.
Okay, well, thank you for the opportunity to present, and thank you for your ongoing support.
Absolutely. All right. Our next organization is Catholic Multicultural Center, and I see we have a representative here online. So give me just a moment to reset our timers. And do we have a presentation? Okay. Is that being shared? Okay. I don't see it, but sure. Oh, there we go. Okay, wonderful. Give me a moment to reset the timers, and then you can go ahead.
Okay, is someone pulling up my presentation or do I need to screen share? Oh, there it is. Okay. All right. Hi, I'm Laura Green. I am the Grants and Communications Coordinator at the CMC. I'll be telling you about our proposal to provide accessible food security and educational opportunities for our immigrant neighbors. Next. The CMC is a social service agency located in South Madison. We have been serving the surrounding areas, including Fitchburg, since 1946. We offer a variety of programs that you can see here to help individuals meet their basic needs in the short and long term. Next. With this proposal, we aim to ensure that low-income immigrants from around the world have access to the education they need to thrive in daily life and to the food resources they need to achieve stability for themselves and their families. Our Healthy Neighborhoods initiatives focus areas are adult education and food security. We will work with the priority neighborhoods of Verona Road, West and North Fish Hatchery, and to do this work, we are requesting $10,594. Next. Our first objective is to offer a twice weekly food pantry. All in need are welcome to use our pantry, whose client base is comprised of 10% Fitchburg residents. Over 80% of pantry users are immigrants from all over the world. CMC is well equipped to serve this population, with half of its staff being immigrants and 5 languages spoken by primary and support pantry staff. Funds will support food purchases proportionate to the amount of Fitchburg residents served. Our second objective is to offer English as a second language classes at Verona Road West. CMC launched classes in this neighborhood in late 2023, and last year these classes served 42 students at our Fitchburg location, which is more than a quarter of the 158 students served overall last year. Staff will recruit and train volunteer teachers, conduct outreach and recruit students, and oversee the classes. Funds will support a portion of the staff time, classroom materials, and a bathroom upgrade needed in order to continue offering this programming at our Fitchburg building. Next. In 2024, the CMC food pantry served 872 unduplicated households. For 2025, we anticipate serving a similar or higher number of households. This will lead to the outcome of 85 Fitchburg households being served, or roughly 150 individuals. Of these, CMC anticipates that 90% will come from priority neighborhoods, primarily Fish Hatchery North. And we will continue our offering and expand upon cultural food choices, including halal meat. For this year, we anticipate serving 40 ESL students at CMC West. Of these, at least 25 will be from Fitchburg, with nearly all anticipated being from priority neighborhoods. As a result of attending class, we expect students to be better prepared to navigate day-to-day life and have opportunities to obtain higher-paying jobs. Next. In conclusion, the need to support our immigrant neighbors is clear and more urgent than ever. CMC is already working with and staffed by immigrants, and we have the established trust and credibility to serve this population, along with a successful track record of doing so. Our project components are all located either within or adjacent to priority neighborhoods, and if granted, CMC would use each dollar received to the maximum benefit to provide adult education and food security for Fitchburg area immigrants. Thank you.
Perfect timing. Thank you so much. I will now open it up to questions from our committee. Seeing none, that's amazing. You just, had a wonderful presentation that answered all of our questions. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Absolutely. All right. So next up, we are running a little early. So is Latino Academy here? Amazing. Come on up.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for the invitation to present this. So I'm Nidia Martinez, the new Executive Director for the Latino Academy of Workforce Development.
Yes, and my name is Jorge Aguilar. I am the Director of Transportation at Latino Academy.
Yes, so this grant that we receive is in support of GED in Spanish and our commercial driver licenses programs.
What was that, honey bunny? About what?
Oh, you see, we even got music.
We're pausing the timer. Hang on.
We got a little bit of everything tonight.
No problem. Thank you. Okay. So anyway, going back to this. So first of all, one of the things about the Latino Academy, who we are. So the Latino Academy of Workforce Development was founded in 2011, and we became a nonprofit since 2022. Our mission, as you know, it is focused on adult education with a focus in supporting the workforce development and ensuring that we do it through culturally competent adult education and workforce training for our community. Annually, we serve approximately 2,200 adults and focus on workforce development and job training. the key programs that we have is Spanish language GED and high school equivalency programs, commercial driver licenses, construction and hospitality, short-term certifications, digital literacy, and employment support services. So one of the things with serving the Fitchburg, Northfish, Hatchery priority neighborhoods, our goal is to provide education and job training to at least 60 Fitchburg adults. So with the GED and the HECD, we are calculating that we will be serving at least 50 students or more. And with the CDL training is about 10 residents or more, right? Some of the things that through our organization, we focus on breaking the barriers for the Latino community. Some of the barriers that we're looking to address is the educational attainment on GED, which opens the access to better job opportunities and higher wages. We do it through, again, linguistic and cultural access to the community. So the industry training.
We do a CDL training program, which is an FMCSA approved curriculum. We train students to get their commercial driver's license and then connect them with different employment opportunities. We have internship programs. We have connections to Madison College if they want to get a technical degree. So depending on the career that the students want to pursue, we do kind of like a resource navigating, career counseling assessment in the beginning, and then kind of help them through that path. But specifically, the big portion of what we do is that CDL license, getting them into a career that requires that certification.
Yes, and we do that also through community partnerships. So we partners with the Fitchburg Public Library, the Workforce Development Board, Madison College, and other employers in the area. So some of the measurable impact for Fitchburg workforce is in the GED and HECD diploma earners will earn a diploma, which is 50% of them, and the subjects that will pass, at least 80% of them will pass one subject progressing towards completion. And in the CDL,
we have 80% success rate with the Fitchburg graduates. Generally, we try and match that for employment placements as well.
Yeah. But overall, the employment impact, graduates will increase their wages, job stability, and career growth. So this is through that process, it supports the Fitchburg's economic stability of the area. Right? So through this grant, you're investing, right, in the economic mobility of the community here at Fitchburg. So the funding request that we have is $15,000 to expand our GED and our CDL training in Fitchburg residents. And this matters to us, right, because it breaks down, again, the employment barriers for low-income, immigrant, and Latino communities. It also strengthens the Fitchburg local workforce and the bilingual industry and certified training. So, and also creates long-term training opportunities for our community. So the alignment with the Fitchburg Neighborhoods Initiative is in the area of workforce development, economic equity and mobility, and community resilience.
Thank you so much. Mm-hmm. All right, I will open it up for questions.
Yeah.
Hi. What's the difference between a GED and an HSED?
The GED was used more traditionally with a lot of the technical colleges, but more recently, a lot of the schools have been transitioning to the HSED programs. GED is more nationally recognized. Not all states will recognize the HSED, so we do also have to talk to the individuals depending on what they want to do. If they're looking to stay in Wisconsin and there's no need to, there's no long-term plans to travel out, then the HSED is usually recognized. But for other states, if they do end up going somewhere else, they may not recognize that HSED, so it is important to do that assessment initially. For the students, the biggest impact to them is it used to be very test-driven, so you had to pass a certain amount of tests for your GED, The HSED isn't structured like that. It's more participation, doing the activities, and making it through the coursework in time.
So, are they learning anything different in these courses?
I wouldn't say it's to that degree.
So we have a coordinator here.
yeah.
So if you want to more directly, so that's why we brought them to make sure to a specialized question. So, yep.
Hi. For the GED, the student can get the GED through test. It's more like they have to do 4 tests, math, science, civics, and if they pass, they can get the GED. And the HSED is competencies. Yeah, they have to go to the school, take classes, and they can get their diplomas in 9 months. And for the GED, the difference is they can get the diploma in 1 or 2 months.
Oh.
And the HSED is a program from Wisconsin.
I see.
Yeah.
Are they? What does it cost per student to run them through these programs?
The cost? For the student is free.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but someone's paying for it.
Yeah. So actually, I don't know the answer to that one. It's specifically, what is the cost right now?
No, we don't have the right now.
No, I can get you back to that. So I don't know. I haven't done that.
Yeah, I'd be interested. I mean, if there's tests being taken for the GED, for example, there's an administrator in charge of the test. They have to be graded and all that. So somewhere there's some costs that have to be paid for.
So the collaboration is with the Madison Technical College, right? So they are running some of those costs. So for us, the cost is on the support services that we do for the student. So in this case, that, for example, the students come in and sometimes they don't know how to use the computer or the systems. So that is where our coordinator comes in to support the access to be able to do that, right? And also as they go through the process is when we are supporting through their career. So there is a combination. So that's why our cost is in supporting our staff and be able to get them through the program. But the cost as far as like the testing and all that stuff, that's done through the Madison Technical College. That's the collaboration it goes.
So you're not paying for any of the actual stuff that's happening at MATC, you're just providing like tutoring and that kind of thing.
We're just providing tutoring, the services, the technical support.
The GED, the cost is approximately $200 per student.
Gotcha.
For an exam.
And you said you said that about 80% of the students that start will complete it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be really wonderful if you could get back to us a little bit more about cost per student. I'm also curious about cost per student for the CDL program because it looks like about 8 students would be the expected graduation or attrition rate, I think, success rate. And I know that the vast majority of the money that's being requested is for the CDL portion. It's for insurance and truck rental and diesel. So I'd be curious about that number too.
Yeah, so generally, and it's very similar to the GED and HSED program, the students don't pay for anything, right? We cover the cost of the fuel, we cover the cost of the instructors. So you could calculate it to, if you went somewhere else, it's somewhere around $2,000 to $5,000 per student. But we obviously don't have that same budget as a private CDL training school. So if we calculated the instructor, because we do have our own instructor, in this case it is fully in-house, so we cover everything as far as the licensing, the insurance, the fuel, the time, the coordinating, the recruitment, placement. So
thank you so much.
It would be a different cost, but it does come to be anywhere from $2,000 to $5,000.
Thank you so much.
Yep. Thank you.
All right. Wonderful. Next up, and again, we are running a little ahead, but we have Leopold PFO. Amazing.
Hello, good evening. Thanks for having me here. I'm Katie Riggles. I'm on the board of the Aldo Leopold Parent Faculty Organization. As you hopefully know, Leopold is an elementary school that serves a big portion of Fitchburg, especially in the North Fish Hatchery neighborhood. The school is about 650 students. Of that, I think this year we think 390 live in Fitchburg, and the remaining live in Madison, but all kind of in that local area. As a PFO, our organization goals are to strengthen our community connections. Leopold is a community school, so we as a PFO not only support the school, but also support the community and the community actions that the community school is taking. So we also look at enhancing educational support, raising funds to support the school resources that they might need. We do a lot of teacher and staff appreciation. Teachers work really hard, and we're really proud of them, and we're really happy to have them. So we do what we can to show our appreciation for them. And then we have been spending in the last few years a lot of time and effort trying to create accessible and educational and equitable spaces. So previous grants from this opportunity have gone to making ADA outdoor gardens for outdoor education. We have done a lot of work with the school community social workers to get a nice green space. They call it the green room, but it's this nice space for when students need to take a break and they can go through sort of sensory stations to sort of calm themselves and calm their bodies and go back to their classrooms and be ready to learn. And we've done a lot of work to help support funding and rehabbing of that room. So for today, the project I'm talking about for you guys is to our Leopold Community Connections, Building a Stronger Future. This is in the areas of community engagement largely, and also reducing barriers to school attendance. We are requesting $10,000, and the project will serve the North Fish Hatchery neighborhood. Go to my goals of the project are to help support community events and engagement that's happening through the school. So we work very closely with the community school resource coordinators. We help support the school get some funding for the community program, but with help from grants, we can support sort of free meals, free food, free access for the community. So in previous years, we've done events such as the Hispanic Heritage Month event. We help support the food for that event and the DJ for that event. We have done Black History Month events. We've also done STEM night and a few other things. So we try to get the community in the school as much as we can through these community engagement opportunities. And the other part of what we're asking for is to reduce barriers to school attendance. We see a lot with students at the school that they don't have great ways to get to school, especially if the weather is bad. We have a lot of issues with having appropriate winter attire for students, and sometimes that is to the point where they will not come because they don't have snow boots, they don't have snow coat, they don't have winter coats. And so one of the things we're looking at is winter gear for them, transportation, things like that, trying to help get kids in school all the time, ready to learn. And so the outcomes that we're interested in here, and you'll have to excuse me as I go through my notes here. Really to increase community engagement through participation in the events at Leopold. We do not ask people their names and numbers. We count at events, and we don't know if that's repeatable numbers or not, but we try to make them as open and accessible as possible to anyone who lives in the neighborhood, so we tend not to ask those things. We are hoping to decrease our student absenteeism rates through this initiative to try to reduce barriers for kids. We'll work really closely with the school social workers to actually identify what is going on with a particular student and make sure they get the support they need. We have a really nice relationship with them already, as we have a different fund that helps reduce homelessness. And then the last one is just to promote social interaction and build a stronger community. So thank you very much for your time. We've really appreciated your support throughout the years, and I'll take any questions you have.
Perfect timing. I will open it up for questions on the far end.
Yes, thank you for your presentation. You mentioned the hub in your presentation. It's also in the proposal. Yes. Have you had any interaction yet with the leadership of the hub, and what ideas are you thinking about? Because they're pretty close to each other, number one, but to any interaction that will help us as we make decisions about how this will work with something that's going into the community?
Yeah, thank you for that. We have had a couple of initial contact points with the people who are thinking about the hub. We don't have anything in place as far as plans, because I know that's still under construction, but I know that we interact with a lot of the different community that serves that neighborhood. So we work with JFF, we work with, right? So we tend to know people in that neighborhood, and we're hoping to be able to do some things jointly with the hub, or even to have some opportunities that happen at the hub. We've talked a lot about potential for other types of education opportunities, maybe even adult education, things like that. And so we'd love to work with them. But we don't have a strong connection yet, because I know it's still under construction, but it's on our radar to make that
Thank
happen.
you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
In looking through the application, one of the things I noticed is that your organization doesn't have a lot of financial resources. So, looking through here, there's some of these that have $2, $3, $5 million budgets, and you're running about 24,000 or so.
Yep.
So I presume that means that you are largely driven by volunteers.
Yeah.
So how many volunteers are there that are involved in making these programs happen?
Yeah, so our board has, I believe, 5 members, and then we have a whole variety of parents who volunteer for events. So we generally don't struggle to get volunteers to help us with events, and we can have anywhere up to like 30 or 40 parents come. The school's big, has a lot of family there, so we do get volunteers that way. We are fully volunteer run. Everyone on the board has a full-time job, mostly doing other things. And we do have a really small budget. We try not to ask the school community for funds. We know that Leopold students often come from underprivileged families that don't have a lot of funds, so we try to fundraise in other ways to support the things that the school needs. And yeah, we have really small budget. We've been very lucky to have grant funds from some of the Dane County, City of Madison, and City of Fitchburg.
Well, just one other.
Artie, can I ask a question?
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. So you mentioned talking about improving attendance to the school, and obviously being like a parent-led group. Do you guys have your principal that sits on your board, or any other administrative staff that sits on the board that can report on those things about improvement of attendance or anything like that?
They don't sit on the board officially, but we do have at our monthly meetings, one of the school principals always comes, and the community resource coordinator, Cindy Diaz, comes to every monthly meeting. And we have a really great working relationship with the school. I think I go in at least once a week and say hello. They're wonderful. They work really hard. And a really good connection with the school social workers. So when the school social workers need something, we are usually the first place they ask for it. Unless the other place they go a lot is Community Action Coalition, which depending on what the need is. But we are one of the nonprofits that help support the social workers and what they're looking for the families.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
I just wanted to make one comment before you go. I know Leopold gets a bad rap by a lot of people in this community, but I will tell you, I lived on Post Road for a while, and all of my neighbors had kids that went to Leopold, and the parents who have their kids there are absolutely, they defend that school with every fiber in their being. So, like any place else, it's probably not perfect, but I think that school is doing a lot of good work in this community. And so, thanks for the time you're putting in.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I agree. I think it's a wonderful school. We enjoy having our children go there, and I've really enjoyed all the people I've met. And everybody loves those kids so deeply. It shows in every day you spend time in the school. So thank you for your comments, and thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. All right. Give me just a moment. All right, thank you so much. All right, is Madison Area Rehabilitation Centers here? Calling Madison Area Rehabilitation Centers. We are a little early, so they were scheduled for 7:10. It's possible they're not here. But what we are going to do is take a 5-minute bio break. If anybody needs to go get a drink of water or go to the bathroom, this would be the time. So I will set a 5-minute timer, and we will be back momentarily. Thank you so much, everyone. Okay, now is Madison Area Rehabilitation Centers here? No. Spectacular. Is Madison Reading Project here? On Zoom. All right.
We are on Zoom, yep.
Wonderful. All right, is the screen being shared? Looks like it. All right, I will set the timer. Give me just a moment and then you can start.
Awesome. Well, thank you all so much. My name is Joshua Blofko. I'm from the Madison Reading Project. I'm the donor engagement specialist here. And we can go on to the next slide. So for those of you who don't know, our mission is to connect our community with free books, literacy resources that ignite a love for reading and affirm and reflect the diversity of young readers. We serve children ages birth through 18 and the grown-ups who are helping them learn to read. Our services are offered throughout the greater Dane County area. Next slide, please. So this is not an exhaustive list of what we do with Madison Reading Project, but it's a good breakdown of our programs. We have Books for Educators, which is one of our most popular programs. We have early literacy, which is called My First Pages, school age literacy, which is called Bookmarked. We have a lot of community collaborations, which involves holiday giving, little free libraries, and back to school book fairs. We have family literacy, which is our newest core program, and we have our big red reading buses, and one of them is actually ADA accessible, which allows us to expand our services to children in Dane County as well. If anyone has any questions about these programs as well, feel free to reach out. Next slide, please. This is just a breakdown of our impact for 2024, so these next two slides will break it down by program. So we gave out 131,214 books last year for free, and we partnered up with 273 community partners. Our My First Pages program involved getting 21,945 books to children, educators, and caregivers. Next slide, please. So this is just more of our programs. Our big red reading buses went out into the community and covered a lot of ground. We gave out thousands of books through that program. Our STEAM programming, we had 839 books shared with kids. Our free book fairs, and this is everywhere in Greater Dane County, not just Fitchburg. This number is it's 12,119. For Books for Educators, we gave out 36,025 books, and that involves 25 books for every teacher that signs up for that program. So teachers are able to get 25 free high-quality books for their classrooms. We have Little Free Libraries, which involved us getting almost 12,000 books delivered to free libraries, and Dolly Parton's Imagination Library, which involved 995,000 books going out. Next slide, please. So free book fairs in Fitchburg. This is a program that we piloted in 2023, and it was inspired by the input and requests from educators. Our focus with these programs with free book fairs is to get children excited about reading and get kids that ownership feeling in their reading journey. Something just for them, and all teachers and librarians can get a book too. So the Madison School District schools that we served in 2024 included Badger Rock, Chavez, Leopold, Southside, and Thoreau. And Verona, we had Sugar Creek, Country View, and Glacier Edge. Next slide, please. So in 2024, we requested $15,000 and received $14,000. So really close, and we really appreciate those funds. The program areas that we focus on for free book fairs, as well as our entire programming, is youth development. Priority neighborhoods we served included Belmar, Renaissance on the Park, North Fish Hatchery Road, and these priority neighborhoods also overlapped with nearby communities. Our 2024 grant outcomes included serving 2,702 children in Fitchburg who are excited to read and share their new book. Additionally, these children gained access to books that reflect their unique identities, interests, and linguistic diversity, and we gained connections to school staff and families with MRP services and resources. Next slide, please.
Thank you so much. If there's anything from here that you really want to highlight, feel free for the next 10 seconds.
Yes, please. I just wanted to highlight that we're going to continue building our relationships with educators from last school year to create additional opportunities for collaboration and impact. And we're going to grow the relationships with the kids as well. And it's really fun because they're able to start reading their books right at the book fair, and they're able to talk about it with their friends. And we're going to serve a similar number of students this year and anticipate around 15 to 20% of those students being new to the free book fair experience. They're new to the school system by moving here, or they're kindergartners. And it's just really great for kids to build their own libraries at home.
That's so wonderful. Thank you so much.
And then there's some pictures on the next slide, but really appreciate it.
I will open it up for questions from the committee.
Do you have any intentions on moving into our other two priority neighborhoods like Southdale and Jamestown?
From what I understand, yes, that is our goal. We want to make sure that we're serving as many communities in Fitchburg that we can. So I think that is up for our programming team to decide, but I think that should certainly be our intention.
So the big red bus, or whatever you call this, Clifford, the big red dog.
Red reading bus. Yep.
Is that like a bookmobile where people go in and check books out and then return them, or how does that work?
So unlike bookmobiles, our book buses go out into the community in the greater Dane County area, and kids are able to come on board and take a book for themselves to take home forever. It's theirs. So they don't have to return it or anything. They're able to pick a book, and we are able to carry books of a variety of topics, books that cover a lot of age ranges. So any kid is able to come on board and take a book to take home with them, and it's a really great experience.
Any other questions?
And I will say the bigger book bus that we have now is the only ADA compliant bus with a ramp in the country. So that's a really, really cool feature.
Wonderful. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Up next, we have Millennium Soccer Club. Come on down.
All right. Hi, my name is Haley. I'm here with Millennium Soccer Club. I'm the board president, and I'm very grateful that you are having me here today. Millennium has been in Fitchburg for 23 years. We were founded in 2001, and our first site was actually at Belmar. We serve 300 to 400 players annually, and we have 5 different locations all over Madison. We partner with elementary schools, and that's how we really make sure we can get to the families that need our support. And something that you'll see as I explain here is that we operate really differently from traditional clubs. Our mission is to remove all of the barriers of access to organized youth sports. We also have a high school program with high school coaches, and we partner with lots of different other soccer programs in the area, like MESA, which is the Madison Area Youth Sports Association, and then also Forward Madison. So I have my cool jersey on here. You can see this is our coaching jersey that Forward provides for our high school and adult coaches. So we are in quite a few of your neighborhoods. I'm here to talk about 2 specifically today. So we are 5 sites. We have 4 that are really, really close to each other. One is at Marlboro Park, so that's Belmar and the Renaissance. And then we have one at Hegel Elementary School, which serves the Verona Road West, but we also have one at Leopold Elementary School. So I'm here to talk about 2, but we are definitely have a very, very big presence in Fitchburg. You can see this is just a quick map of our 5 sites. This fall, we were able to open our first site over on the north and east side, which is at Warner Park, and we have been been working on that move for about a decade. So that was a really, really big move to be able to get over and support those families. This is the title of the grant that I wrote you all that is very long, but we have year-round soccer is our goal. We have a fall program at Hegel and Marlboro and also summer camps, and that's what I'm asking for support with today. So our grant request is $10,000. We served, this is data from last fall, so we want to meet or exceed these numbers. We serve our kids in 1st through 5th grade. Our mission is to try and push into neighborhoods to remove the need for transportation. We charge $15 for the entire year, and that's fall and spring programming. Our summer camps are an additional $10 for families, but all of it is a pay-what-you-can model. We rely 0% on fees from families for any of our funding, and if a family does or does not pay, we never know. We don't write it down. We don't care. We want them to be there. We provide our own player insurance so that we can have anybody from any neighborhood. So all are truly welcome. We call it a bring your cousin model, as long as you sign the concussion waiver. That's always the joke that we make. So we truly, truly want everybody to be there. By partnering with elementary schools, we are able to tap into some of those resources so we can get to the families that don't know how to Google search to find programs in the area. They don't know what the programs are called. They don't know who is invited to play. We have the support with languages from schools, so we also make sure we remove the barriers of access to technology. So we have all of our registration forms, both digital and in paper form. We have on-site registration. We never close our registration. So if you show up on the very last day, we will give you a full kit as part of our $15. We provide all soccer materials, and so you can say, I was on a team for one day, is more important to us than turning anybody away. Just to give you an idea of where we are at in the families that we serve, we had 209 players registered this fall. It's always lower in fall, easier to recruit over the winter, and we have higher numbers in spring. And of those 209, we had 67 families request a scholarship for the $15 fee. So we really need your support, and I am very grateful for your time today. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much. I will now open it up for questions from our committee. Okay, well, I had a question.
Great.
So I was looking at the application, and it looked like so there are like 2 different tables that talk about like what residents are impacted, and it looks like there were mostly for the children. Most of the children who were benefiting from this program were in Fitchburg. And then for the adults table, it looks like most of the adults were non-Fitchburg residents.
Yes.
And I was kind of confused.
Isn't that cool?
Can you tell me more?
Sure. Yeah, we get a lot of our volunteer coaches from outside of the communities, and that is by design. We want people to come to the communities. They're from, majority is the Madison soccer community, so we really tap into all the people, adults, young adults that are still playing, who want to give back. So that's why that's a little bit different. And the estimations for our Fitchburg residents for the children are an estimation at best, because they come from wherever. They can maybe attend one of our sites and then their family moves over summer and they want to come back to that site if they're able, or it's all walkable. We call them biker gangs too. We have kids rolling up in their bikes and scooters and they show up, and as long as we have them registered and everything, is from a liability standpoint is okay. It's really we have to embrace chaos with this program because we really want to make sure that we are welcoming to all and everybody. So that's kind of explains those discrepancies. And then another piece about one of our objectives that I didn't talk about is the high school board. So we're really trying to grow our presence of our high school volunteers. Our high schoolers get service hours by working with us and volunteering with us, so they can have a soccer background, but it's not a requirement. And our idea in this year, we're starting it right now, is to start the high school board so that we can have our high schoolers get that leadership opportunity. It looks great on their applications. They get to either come to a neighborhood they've never been to and connect with people that way, or they're from that neighborhood and they're an excellent example for our young players to be able to see themselves in roles of success. So trying to really cycle through making sure our kids can see themselves into the future and connecting communities. We say we're a soccer program second and a community program first.
I have a question. Do you partner at all with organizations in our neighborhoods, or even for your volunteers, like thinking about like Boys and Girls Club, or MSCR, or let's see what other programs we have around. We got like, I can't even think of my brain right away. Or for volunteer programs like Goodman Community Center or other community centers around the city at all?
Yes, we stick a lot within the soccer community, but we have definitely worked with Boys and Girls Clubs, dropping off flyers and posters for registrations, volunteer hours that way. Right now, we really are focused with elementary schools and middle schools, high schools, developing those relationships. We try and bring our sites to as many schools as possible and actually host our sites at the schools. For us, that lowers our fees because we don't have fee rentals, but it also makes those school locations a really welcoming place that some families might not feel comfortable on school grounds until they get that experience. So we are constantly looking to grow and build more connections in the community, but right now that's really our main focus.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Next up, and again, we are early, so I don't know if they are here, but River Food Pantry. Is River Food Pantry here yet? Perfect. Okay, we will cycle back because that is on us for running early. Root to Rise. Is Root to Rise here? Looks like maybe on Zoom.
That says rooted.
Oh, okay. Well, if you are willing, let us skip over to Rooted. We would be really out of schedule.
Did Madison Area Rehabilitation Center show up since we skipped them before?
Oh, calling Madison Area Rehabilitation Center. No, apparently, and they never responded to the email either. So,
okay,
yeah, kind of guessing they're not here. Okay, Rooted. If you are here, we would love to hear from you.
We are here. Two of us.
Wonderful. Let me reset our timer, and then you can get started just momentarily.
Let me know when. All right, we're going. Oh, okay. So I work for Rooted. I'm the education director for our Southside programs, and we are all about collaborations rooted in food, land, and learning. You can do the next slide. Our work really focuses on three main areas. The first is food access, the second is land access, and the third is urban agriculture education. Next, yep. So we are applying for funding for our Rooted in Community Resilience program. We're requesting $15,000, and the program areas that we're focusing on are youth mentoring, youth education, food security, and neighborhood community building and engagement. And the neighborhood that we're focused on that we've been working with for many years is the Southdale neighborhood, although we do have representation in our programs from other of the priority neighborhoods as well in our neighborhood center programs. Next. Our work in food security through this program is focused on our Badger Rock farm stand and community market that is at the Badger Rock Neighborhood Center just off Rimrock and East Badger Road. We also have a food pantry at our Badger Rock Neighborhood Center site in partnership with Second Harvest. We have a community garden that offers 45 plots for people to grow their own in the community. We have free monthly community dinners. And then we also have classes and workshops that are open to the community and families at our Badger Rock Neighborhood Center. Next slide. Our urban agriculture piece that we are focusing on for this ask is our gardening and culinary arts education programs that we do with Southside Elementary School, Badger Rock Middle School, and then also the community and family workshops that I mentioned. We also offer community leadership development through our high school age youth employment program and through inviting in community chefs and farmers to be guest educators in all of our programs across ages. We also focus on offering culturally relevant curriculum that focuses on food justice and sustainability. Next slide. Community events would also be supported with this grant, and that includes our monthly community dinners and our markets, community partnerships and resource sharing, and our community advisory committee that we are building up, and we meet with them monthly. And the outcomes that we're looking for with this grant are to address food security issues in our neighborhood through growing 2,500 pounds of produce on our urban farm on site, serving 200 youth through our gardening and culinary arts education for Badger Rock Middle School and Southside Elementary School students, which are also co-located on the same site, and our community events. So we would like to support further 20 events annually, and those include our community markets that are weekly in the growing season, our community dinners that are monthly all year long, and community workshops. So, great, I have 23 seconds left. So,
perfect timing.
I just want to say too that the programs that we offer are about a lot more than just providing basic needs for the community like food. The community building and the relationship building that happens in our spaces. I work with these kids in the community every day at our Badger Rock location, and people need safe spaces right now. People need places to gather, build relationships, build resilience. Kids need a safe place really badly right now. We just got the results of a safety survey, and 92% of our students said they always feel safe in our class. And the other 8% said usually. So, you know, this is a very important place for our community, not just for the resources, but also for just a sense of
thank you so much.
Just well-being for our kids in our community.
Wonderful. I will open it up for questions. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. So the Badger Rock Middle School, that's the one that's over on East Badger Road, kind of across the street from Southdale. Is that where your community garden space is?
Yes, yep. So it's kind of tucked away. You might not see it driving down Rimrock, but if you go behind to the back service parking lot, there's a big urban farm back there, along with a community garden, 2 hoop houses, a heated greenhouse, honeybees, chickens, and all of these are part of our classroom that we use for working with kids in community. Sorry, speaking of kids, there's mine popping in the background.
He's been roaming around back there, so.
He's been peeking over here.
So in the Southdale neighborhood, the city of Fitchburg owns a fairly substantial chunk of ground that's currently used as a community garden by some of the residents there. Have you been involved with anything going on at that site?
Yeah, so Rooted has a program called the Community Gardens Network, and we oversee community gardens throughout Dane County, including that community garden. We are more of a support and resource organization for the community gardens, and garden organizers at the individual gardens really kind of head up the show at those spaces. But we have popped up at Southdale a number of times with farm stands, with programming for kids, and to support the garden, and also invite gardeners and families to come to our workshops at the Badger Rock Neighborhood Center. in our garden as well.
I know when Southdale became part of the city of Fitchburg, we we had to undertake a pretty hefty cleanup over there because under the town of Madison, there was a lot of debris that just got dumped there. And so my understanding is that most of those plots are used by residents in the neighborhood. And I can't remember the guy's name, but there's a guy who lives there. He's lived there for like 20 years who kind of organizes that. And I wish I could remember his name, but I can't. So you probably know who I'm talking about. Maybe not.
Possibly. Nicholas is our Community Gardens Network director, Community Gardens Network director, and so he's more connected to that side of our organization.
I had a question about the budget. I saw in the 2025 budget that it looks like there's right now budgeted a $148,000 shortfall this year. So I was wondering if you could speak to, was I misunderstanding the budget, or is there a plan for that?
I can speak to that. Yeah, we at Rooted recently hired a development director that just began the beginning of this year to help us with fundraising. Traditionally, we had not had a development director. We relied on a lot of government grants. This is obviously not the time for that. So we're looking to diversify how we obtain funding through individual donors and also, coming to different places where we hadn't received or went for funding before. And my name's Hetty Rudd. Sorry, I'm the co-executive director of Rooted.
Thank you so much for that answer. Any other questions? Amazing. Well, thank you so much. And let's see is River Food Pantry here? Online, possibly?
Yes, hi, this is Helen with the River Food Pantry.
Perfect. All right, give me just a moment to restart our timer, and then you can get started as soon as you see that timer set to 4 minutes. All right, feel free to get started. Thank you so much.
Great. Yeah, thank you. Yes, hi, my name is Helen Osborne Senatus. I'm the Director of Operations at the River Food Pantry. We are located on the north side of Madison, but over the last 2 years, we've expanded our Munch meal program, our mobile meal program into Fitchburg. We as a pantry, through our 8 programs, serve all of Dane County. And we deliberately reached out to communities outside of Madison on how we could expand Munch, our mobile meal program. And so currently we have 5 stops in Fitchburg. And each week we go to the stops with our vehicle. You'll see in the slide we're looking at, we are currently in the larger vehicle on the left. That's our newer truck that we were able to get last year. It has on-site cold and hot storage and a really good produce display. So we're able to send more food home with folks compared to our previous vehicle, which is on the right. So at the river, a big piece of our work is making sure that we can get food to people in both accessible ways and get the right food to people. And so with Munch, we go to 24 neighborhoods right now throughout Madison and Fitchburg. 5 of them are in Fitchburg, and at each stop we're at the same spot on the same time on the same day, and we provide 2 meals to each person who comes out. There's no pre-registration. On average right now through the 5 stops in Fitchburg, we're serving about 350 meals. And so And the meal consists of a sandwich with either meat or vegetarian, and then also some side items like shelf-stable sides like granola bars, shelf-stable fruit, a drink, and then some fresh fruit, all to enjoy right then, and then also some fresh produce to take home and add to a meal at home for folks. And so I'm here tonight asking for continued support. Last year, we were very lucky and appreciative to get support through the Healthy Neighborhoods Advisory Committee for the Healthy Neighborhoods Initiative to continue Munch, and we actually expanded a little bit. We added a few stops and also host a resource fair, which last year was our first resource fair that we'd hosted at Southdale Park. If you can advance the slide, I think the third slide had some shots from last year's. Let's see, there's just a few more from Munch. And then, yes, thank you. Here's our resource fair. We had 16 different agencies, other community agencies come and join us. And it was for a few hours. It was just a nice open space that residents were invited to come to and learn about different resources available, as well as meet people from the library system, the fire department. We had a few police officers there as well. We had a DJ Fusion was there. Munch was there, obviously. And yeah, it was just a really nice event. And we've actually been approached by some of the agencies already, wondering if we're hosting it again. And we would really like to, because we really enjoyed being able to bring together and showcase a lot of the amazing services that our community has to offer and help people get connected with them. And yeah, and I'd be happy to talk through anything and answer any questions.
Thank you so much. I will now change it over into questions from our committee.
I was at that event last year, and I thought it was such a good event. There were so many people who came out and were really happy with all the stuff. Lots of kids. Holy cow, there must have been 200 kids that I saw over the course of the 3 or 4 hours. So I think it was a really good event, and I think it affected people's lives in a very direct way. I've also been over there. I think it was Tuesdays that you guys do a food drop-off there.
At Southdale, yes, we're there. Yeah. Oh, I'd have to look at the schedule. Either Mondays or Tuesdays. Yeah, we're at Southdale.
Yeah, I was there a couple of days for that, and seeing all the people just being able to walk up and get, good food that they can take home and prepare it's really something. I mean, the longer I've been involved with this, the more you see the needs that people have. And there's so many needs around food security that, I'm glad that your organization is there to fill some of those, not just yours, but the other ones who also provide services to those neighborhoods.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you very much for that.
I have a question. So partly because your application is requesting money for packaging as well, I was wondering about the sustainability of the packaging that you use and if you have any information around that.
Sure. So Munch, we use brown, kind of like picture brown paper lunch bags, and have the items in that. And then we have plastic bags available to folks if they're getting a good amount of produce, or if it's a family and they're putting all of their meals in one bag. We do have plastic bags available to them. A few years ago, we did try, we got a grant and got reusable bags, and we had those for but I think before we expanded as much as we did into Fitchburg. And so that could be something that we look at again, is reintroducing reusable bags and encouraging, folks who come for a meal to use those as well.
Thank you. I'm not suggesting you change your plan. I was more curious about where the money was going to go. So no, I appreciate your answer.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Amazing. Thank you so much. All right. Is Root to Rise here? Would you like to wait for your third? Yeah, I know. We're running early. Yeah, that sounds perfect. Is Sonic Sport Club here? Wonderful. Please come on up.
Thank you. Oh. All right. We all set?
All right, we are ready for you. Thank
Cool.
you so much for being here.
Yes, thank you for having me. My name is Philip Matson-Bose. I'm the president of Sonic Sport Club. Thank you for the opportunity to be here today. We at Sonic, we are a community-based soccer club, Fitchburg-based, focused on accessibility, affordability, and inclusivity. We provide high-quality soccer education at a low cost. We compete, as Haley with Millennium mentioned, in the MESA League, Madison Area Youth Soccer Association. And our goal is to provide high-quality soccer training for kids that might not otherwise have the opportunity to experience it. We offer scholarships to all of our member families, and roughly 30% of them take advantage of those scholarships. We're not just a soccer club. I really believe we are a community organization. We foster a strong sense of community among our families through the shared love of soccer and shared experiences together. I want to also quickly highlight did it get there? It didn't. Okay, thank you. We're Fitchburg through and through. We play and practice at McKee Farms Park, and Scott Endel and Chad Sigel probably get so tired of me badgering them about parks because of our growth. We've basically taken every single park in the city of Fitchburg to use for our practice facilities. We also partner with the City of Fitchburg Parks and Recreation Department to run all of their soccer programming in the spring and the summertime as well. In addition to that, we are heavily focused on service as an organization, with our members doing spring cleanups at McKee Farms Park, grounds maintenance at area Fitchburg Parks, and food pantry volunteering at Lighthouse Church. The project name for our application was Fueling Futures, Professional Excellence in Development and Healthy Play. The amount of funds that we're requesting is $11,750. And the areas that we're looking to focus on is youth education, adult education, workforce development, food security, and community building and engagement. The priority neighborhoods that we're involved in directly with our club membership base are the Verona Road West, Belmar Renaissance, and North Fish Hatchery Road neighborhoods. The purpose of our grant is twofold. Number one, we want to develop a professional pathway by funding coaching and referee certifications for club coaches, parents, and players ages 13 and up. There's a heavy need for refereeing in the Madison area youth soccer community. Anybody from 13 and up is eligible to obtain a referee certification, and our goal is to empower a lot of our member families to fill that need. In addition to that, providing high-quality coaching is one of our key missions as a club, and we would like to do that and obtain some certifications through the U.S. Soccer Association for our coaches. The second part of our request is to promote health and nutrition, addressing food insecurity by providing healthy pre-practice snacks and integrating food education, treating food as fuel to the body to encourage lifelong healthy habits. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Are there any questions from our committee?
Quick question for you. What's your current year objective for certification for coach and referees for this year?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
What is your current projected estimate as to objective for new certification for coaches and referees for the year?
Thank you, I understand. So currently all of our coaches hold a minimum certification with the United States Soccer Federation, and our goal is to get 8 of our coaches to the next level up in terms of certification, so that they can provide like a higher quality soccer experience for all of our kids. In terms of referee certification, our goal is to obtain 8 grassroots level referee certifications for any club member, whether it's an adult member or a child member ages 13 and up, so that they can referee Madison Area Youth Soccer Association games.
Thank you much.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question. Yeah, so I was wondering how do potential soccer players, youth soccer players, find out about your teams? How would they access that opportunity?
Yeah, great question. So we partner with area elementary schools and middle schools in the Fitchburg area, Verona area, and Madison area. In addition to that, we're heavily involved with Centro Hispano as well, as about 65 to 70% of our club membership on any given year is from the Latino community. And beyond that, the club has really spread word of mouth year over year from 2023 to 2024 to 2025. Each year we've grown progressively 50% in each year.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What's the age range of the kids that are in your programs?
Yeah, thanks for that question. We offer programs for kids as young as 5 through our Little Champions program, very introductory soft touch soccer skills, all the way up to high school age, so 15 and 16-year-olds who might compete on a high school soccer team in the fall or the spring, depending on their gender. And then for the opposite season, we would offer alternative programming so that they could play year-round soccer.
Is your organization the one that Robert Zorko is involved with?
That's the one.
I talked with him extensively last year. I've known Robert for 30 years, but I talked with him extensively last year about finding another field to use.
We're always on the hunt.
Any other questions? Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay. Looks like they're still looking for their last. Okay. Ruth Therese, you're still waiting, right? No problem whatsoever. No, that's perfect. We're running early. Is Unidos here? Oh, all right, online.
Yes, I'm here.
We would love to have you present in just a moment.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we are ready.
Why I'm not able. Yeah, I'm not sure why I'm not able for you to see my face. It says that the host has stopped it from me to be showing my face in my camera. So just to let you know. Were you able to hear me?
Yes.
Hey.
Oh, hey.
Scott,
Wonderful.
Scott fixed it.
Okay, spectacular.
Yeah, I don't know why I wasn't able to do that. So yeah, thank you so much for having me. My name is Lucia Ledesma. I'm the Associate Director for Unidos. So for those who don't know us, Unidos is a nonprofit organization supporting survivors of domestic violence, sexual assault, trafficking, human trafficking in Dane County and the surrounding areas. And our mission, you can change the slides. Our mission is to empower the Latine and other marginalized communities to break the cycle of domestic violence, sexual assault, and promote healthy family systems. And you can go to the next slide. And our core values are social justice, empowerment, education, and collaboration. So the name of our proposal, it is called the Cultura y Bienestar Initiative. And what this is going to support, it is some of our programs that we already have running, but it will continue supporting that. So if you go to the next slide, I'm going to talk a little bit about our services, but we do so much in our community that I'm going to focus on the direct service only, as are those the ones that we can continue with this funding opportunity if it's given to us. So we have a helpline service that is running 24/7. We provide legal assistance in family, immigration law, victim services, financial assistance. We have 2 support groups, one for people who identified as women and people who identified as men. And we do have 3 contracts with different individual counseling agencies to provide counseling for adults, youth, and kids. And specifically with this grant, we will be able to enhance our community, the safety, and the well-being through trauma-informed support. We will be able to strengthen the community empowerment through cultural programming that we offer during the summer or during the whole year. The beauty about our team is that all of us, 13 staff members, are bilingual and bicultural, Spanish-speaking folks. And why it's important? It's because the Latine, it is the fastest growing in Dane County. Because we can break many barriers as a staff members being bilingual and bicultural. And because we know that, unfortunately, domestic violence exists everywhere, but in Madison and Dane County too. And we know that at least 3,000 calls or reports have made in Dane County. And sadly, we know that there's more of that. And most of the Latino community is really lacking into report sometimes because of the barriers that our community confronts. So we will implement all this programming with this funding. We will continue the educational workshops that we provide in our community. We continue with the trauma-informed support groups that we have, and we will continue with health seminars that we're going to be creating and continue our advocacy services. So we will really appreciate your consideration and let me know if you have questions. I can talk more about our services. We all are passionate about it, but I know that Unidos is unique in the services that we provide because we're trying to break many barriers in our community and try to make sure that we support all our survivors that are in Dane County. So thank you for the opportunity. And as you know, we're located in the Bell-lined highway. So we are kind of like in the edge of Fitchburg and Madison, but most of our, probably half of our clients are from Fitchburg area, but we serve all Dane County. So we're not particularly in Wallace space. But if you have any questions, let me know. I can say more if you have any questions about this. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I will open it up for questions.
So, many of our presentations tonight have been about, we've had a lot of things about food security. We've had a couple of things about soccer, which are, those are kind of fun things. But yours is not fun. Mm-hmm. Yours is very serious. And having some close friends who have survived domestic violence, a couple of them ended up in the hospital for multiple days. One was there for weeks because she was so abused. I know the need is there. What I really want to ask you about is with human trafficking, because I know that's becoming a bigger and bigger issue. Some of the some of the girls, and I presume there's boys involved too, are being taken from their home country and brought here, sometimes without their parents having any idea that they're gone. What does your organization do to try to get them back to wherever they came from?
So human trafficking, thank you for asking. Human trafficking is a really difficult situation to figure out or to point out like this is a survivor of human trafficking, because sometimes it's not shown like that. We have connection with another agency that is called Project Respect that we could probably work on those spaces. For my experience, I haven't had a specific experience that says, oh, we have a person who has been trafficked from a different country or different state. For me to give you a straight answer about that, but we could support them through the process, depends on what is the situation that they are in. And it is really hard because, yes, human trafficking exists, but it's really difficult to target, to be like, to give numbers as what domestic violence could be or sexual assault can be, you know. But it's a difficult work for sure. And we know that we cannot do this by ourselves. And that's why collaboration is really important for us, to have those connections within the community. For example, with Fitchburg Police Department, we have a really direct contact with them, with the social worker there, with Sarah, and any officers that can contact us. At the same time, with the district attorney's office for any cases that they have, if they found something and they want the support from one of our staff members, then that we can provide that support. So I hope that I answered your questions, but thank you.
Other questions? Thank you so much. We really appreciate you coming here and being flexible.
Can I just say something? I think I know that you said that it was a really serious and hard topic, and yes, it is hard. But if you could see in our presentation, like the many pictures that we have in there, it's that we create that we really believe that healing can come from different places. Everybody has a different path for healing, and something that we're pretty focused into doing this is that we can create this community ways in different ways, like providing places for dancing, art, and things like that. So if you see that in our presentation, is because we believe that healing can come in different ways, and see domestic violence as a really serious thing, but at the same time something that we can get to a point that we can heal. But thank you so much for considering this, and if there's any more questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Next up, we have Root to Rise.
Okay. I'm Denise Hansen.
I'm Joseph Thigpen.
I'm Martina Gabrielli.
I'm alumni of the program. I graduated in 2017, and now I also help with the program. I'm program director.
I did the program in 2022 and 2023, and now I'm studying to become an elementary school teacher. So why tutor mentors? So Root to Rise is a program that helps high school level students gain leadership skills, confidence, and work experience. They help develop positive relationships, and they learn effective communication and collaboration skills. While the high school students are doing this program, they also earn high school credit, which is really important because we specifically try to target students that are having a difficult time within their high school experience. And we help them become a leader and a role model for the younger students that they work with.
So we place them, the summer program, we place them at One City Schools Lighthouse Christian School has also asked us to have tutor mentors there. So West High, we partner with West. This will be our 4th summer there, in hopes of course, getting this grant. But we have other funding sources, of course, too. But you guys would allow 15 students to be able to do this program, and they would be Fitchburg, West High students. We are participating in the Equity Symposium coming up next month, so students would come and hear about the possibility of the program at that time. And then, did you have something, Joe?
I do, yes. This program is very impactful. It paved the way for my career and what I'm doing today. I'm a greatness coach at C.H. Bird Elementary in Sun Prairie, and I didn't necessarily see myself being an educator before doing this program. And with the program going on for as long as it's been, we've created a couple of tutor mentors that actually want to be a teacher after doing the program. And it's really just like about finding those tutors, those mentors that's in the high school that's looking for a leadership role and that necessarily needs to be uplifted. I felt uplifted, and I've interviewed countless people that done the program and said that the motivation going into the program definitely increased as they just were going, and it just speaks volumes. It's a 3-way win. The elementary school level wins, the tutor mentors, teachers as well. Actually, it's a 4-way win. The parents win as well.
Yes, as someone who was born in the Fitchburg, Madison area, and I've lived here my whole life, I wish that I had the representation growing up. I wanted to see teachers that looked like me, that could help me with Spanish. Spanish is my first language. So for me, it was always very, very difficult when I had homework and I didn't have anyone to help with. And these tutors, they help the students. I was able to provide help to not only just Spanish-speaking students, but also students with disabilities. And you're kind of there to really help the teacher a little bit. And it's just such an important program. And it's amazing what it does for our community.
Yeah, so they earn 3 things: the $1,000 stipend, the DPI employability skills certificate, and school credit when they participate in the program. It's a 90-hour.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We will transition into questions.
I have one. It isn't so much in the application. Sorry. When did the program start? My kids went to West, and I had heard a little bit about this, but when did you guys start the program?
Joseph was the first cohort of 7. The very first grant was the City of Madison, $3,500, and it was $500 stipends for each of 7 different young people. So the program started 2017. The nonprofit started 2020. Okay. We've had 362 young people do the program.
Yeah, that was in there. I just wanted to know when it started.
And Joe says a few wanted to become teachers, but actually it's more like 34% now want to become teachers. And on the front end, it's like 4%.
Yeah. Thank you.
My son is going to college to be a music teacher, so.
Awesome.
Nice.
That's great.
So your program, how many students do you help each year?
It's growing every year. We're kind of growing right now. We're just starting in a new school district.
Well, I don't need a precise number, 50, 100.
Like 60. We're 60. Up to 362. After this semester, we'll hit the 400 level after this current semester. And then after the summer, it'll be it depends. I mean, if we get if you guys support us, we can do 15 more. It's all dependent upon that kind of stuff. But
so are the tutors, when they're helping individual students, are they focusing on one subject, or do the tutors have knowledge in enough subjects that they can?
It's all dependent upon that classroom teacher. The classroom teacher decides.
Yeah,
Joe,
so when I was in there specifically, I was working with a kindergarten classroom. So I was helping the students that were falling behind on their math and on their reading. And although I didn't need the help, it also helps any tutor mentors fill in those gaps in their education that they might have not had. So it also helps make sure that they know these skills that maybe they wouldn't have known if they didn't do the program. So it ranges. There's some people doing second grade, and then that way they'll learn if they don't know, because some of these students that are having a difficult time, it's because they maybe grew up in an unstable home where they were moving around a lot. I know that was the case for me. I didn't have just one school that I went to all of elementary school. I went to 4 different elementary schools. I went to 3 different middle schools, and then finally I stayed at West High School for 4 years. But it really helps, and it's just like the kids. It really just helps both the younger kids and then the tutor mentors as well fill in gaps in their education.
So,
go ahead.
What I was just going to say, just bridging off of that, is it's not necessarily a subject that they're helping with. When you put a high school student in an elementary classroom, they fall right into place. And it's like whatever is going on in there, it's just like, boom, melt right in.
So all of your tutors are high school students.
Yes.
And so presumably they're working in classrooms with younger kids.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yes, but we also do have a Root to Rise Thrive program, and that helps early adolescent adulthood, adults, and it helps them with schooling. It provides resources for them as well. So this is also for adolescents, not just high school students.
Anybody who did our program is part
Yeah.
of our second program. One we have grant money to support them with, or, we're supporting some people through their education.
So you had mentioned West High School. Do you also work in the other schools, and do you work in the alternative schools like Shabazz or other places like that?
We do we work in a bunch of different high schools, yes. But our summer program is west to one city, because one city goes to school all summer.
Oh, gotcha.
And one city has partnered with us
Okay.
through this. I have a feeling MMSD is going to want to include summer coming up here soon, but right now one city has been a really great partner. This would be our 4th year.
Is there time for another question?
54 seconds.
Thank you so much for your presentation and for sharing your personal experiences. One question that I think might come up in our conversations later is, you mentioned kind of prioritizing it for the West High student tutor, the mentors or tutors, that they would be prioritized from the priority neighborhoods.
We can make sure that those are the ones who get this funding. They can be Fitchburg neighborhoods only. It's a Fitchburg grant. We would honor that. I don't think
That's where a lot of the West High School students reside. I know for sure.
Yeah, that's where I went to school as a Fitchburg resident, but also really it's just getting those connections and having the support, really.
And that's time.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Have a great night.
Listening.
We also really appreciate hearing from graduates of the program. So I want to specifically call it out. Yeah. It's amazing. Okay. I think we're on to Verona Area International School. Okay, Verona Area International School, please come up.
Hi, thank you for meeting with us today. My name's Joanne Miller. I'm a mom of 3 children that go to VAS.
I'm James Kokel. I'm a dad of 2 kids that are there.
And we are representing the VAS Foundation, which is the fundraising effort group for the school. So we're not employees of the school, but we are parents. And we are here to ask, we call our grant the Standing Desk Grant. So if you haven't heard of VAS, we are a 501c3 created to support the Verona Area International School. We are a charter school that is in the Verona School District. We have students from both Fitchburg and Verona, and we're a language immersion program that has half of our day taught in Chinese and then half of the day taught in English. And we have around 120 students. I don't know if you have anything to add to that.
Yeah, around it, within a couple of that each year.
We come to you guys today to ask for funding to get 4 standing desks. The desks will actually be shared by all grades, but we did just ask Miss Sally Grant, our principal, and she said the 4th and 5th graders really need it more than the other classes, and we both have 5th graders and can probably agree to that.
The 4th and 5th graders share the same classroom space. They switch which rooms they're in afternoon and mornings. So, yeah, those desks, the desks in their room would be utilized by both of them.
Mm-hmm. And we're hoping to help promote movement, giving students spaces to stand if they need to. There's been a lot of studies show that it helps reduce cardiovascular disease, helps increase movement, especially we have some wobble chairs, but no standing desks. And our grant request is kind of broken down because the school district has to purchase from certain vendors. They gave us the estimate cost of $500 a desk. I do know that it's possible to purchase a standing desk for less, but because of the vendor restrictions, that is our estimate. Sorry, there's a slight typo. We would like 4 desks, not 4 desks, for a total grant request of $2,000. Any questions for us? We also have some brochures about our school in case you guys are not familiar with it. I can hand these out after.
Thank you so much. All right, transitioning to questions. I have a question. So you mentioned that the desks would be used in 4th and 5th grade classrooms, and in the application it mentioned that the school was around 115 students in size. How many students are currently in 4th and 5th grade?
Yeah, so 115 is the actual number, and I pulled that from our 120 is the max capacity, so we're somewhere in between that. And then 4th and 5th grade, we have.
So it averages 20 students a class. I don't know. 5th is at 22 right now. 4th, I don't know the size of. And then it would be used more in the 4th and 5th grade classrooms, but throughout the school, there's an interest for them. So.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Do you have your own building?
We do. We are on Main Street in Verona. They don't like us calling it the old K-wing, but what had in the old high school, what had been the K-wing, the 2 of the charter schools are housed in there. One hallway is Verona Area International School, and the other one is New Century School.
And I will mention that we started at Stoner Prairie, just around the corner. So many of our families are very familiar and are from the Fitchburg area. So I'm just over in Seminole Forest, and I know that a lot of parents there send their kids to the school. So there is a bus that takes them there.
Do you currently have standing desks, or this is
No.
a first time acquisition?
First time acquisition.
she mentioned the wobble chairs earlier before. I don't know if you've ever seen the wobble chairs, but yeah, the kids that need to move around, it's an amazing device for them, because initially when I first saw them, I'm like, what are they? They're constantly moving. And yeah, they're sitting on a chair that just kind of, it's almost a balance chair for them or something.
Lets them get out the wiggles without being at recess and still being able to pay attention. And so this was a request brought to us from the school, from the teachers and the principal.
You mentioned that you guys serve students from the Fitchburg and Verona area. Do you guys have any data that shows any students that are part of the charter school that's from the neighborhoods that this grant supports?
Yeah, so I did dig into that. We don't have it plotted by like where students live specifically, but I do know that both the Verona West and Belmar are part of the Verona School District. Correct me if I'm misrepresenting it, but I think both of those districts are part of Verona schools. And because I know most of the parents, I was like, how weird would it be because I know some families that live there, but I can't give you an exact and complete count. But we do have families that live in both neighborhoods.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank you.
All right. And is the road home representative here? Okay. Because we are so early for that one. And I really apologize for being not on the schedule. Okay. One last call for Madison Area Rehabilitation Center. Okay, so it sounds like we are waiting for the road home. I wonder what we should do. Let's take a 5-minute recess. Yes, we'll be back in 5.
We should order a pizza.
Seriously. Let's reconvene, please. All right. And we are so thankful that you were able to come on early because we were running a little early. So, without further ado,
happy to.
Wonderful. Without further ado, the road home, I am going to just reset this timer over here, and then I'll let you know when we are ready very shortly.
Perfect.
Okay, ready when you are.
Awesome. Well, good evening, everyone. Thanks for letting me jump on early. My name's Megan Salzwedel, and I am the Development Director at the Road Home Dane County. You can go to the next slide, please. The Road Home is a nonprofit in Madison. We're located on West Wingrid Drive, just between Fish Hatch and Park Streets. But we are, the purpose of our agency is to provide opportunities for families experiencing homelessness to achieve self-determined goals and affordable, stable housing. So we work with families who are moving from homelessness into stable housing. We provide rental assistance, and I always think the special sauce of our program is our wraparound case management that allows families to set self-determined goals and achieve them with the support of their case managers. Next slide, please. And the project that we've applied for funding for from the Fitchburg Healthy Neighborhoods Grant Program is our Heart Room program. It is one of our 13 programs at the Road Home. It is a 3-year supportive housing program that provides a flexible rental subsidy and then that wraparound case management for families with young children who are experiencing homelessness or severe housing instability to help them avoid eviction. And Heart Room is unique because it does provide this flexible rental subsidy. It lets families decide each year and each month how much of their rental subsidy they want to spend, which is really unique. So if one month a family, let's say, has a big car repair that they want to get their car repaired so they keep their job and maintain employment, they can use more of their rental subsidy to save their money to repair their car. And then maybe the next month they get a bonus at work because it's the end of the year. They can use less of their rental subsidy that month. So they can save it for another month. But also the unique part about Heart Room is it is like a sliding scale. So the first year there's a larger rental subsidy amount. The second year it's smaller, and the third year it's even smaller to promote self-sufficiency. So the Road Home applied for a Fitchburg Healthy Neighborhoods grant in 2024, and we are awarded funds. And those funds are supporting a family in the Southdale neighborhood who's midway through, probably more than midway at this point, through the program. And this year we are again requesting $4,885 to support this family through the duration of the program. She's actually graduating from the program later this year, so it would get her through the rest of the program. Next slide, please. And just to talk about the referral process for Heart Room, it is a collaboration. It's a collaborative program. So we work with our partners at Rise Wisconsin's Early Childhood Initiative and the joining forces for families to refer families into the program. So they have a really good pulse on like families in our community who would be a good fit for the program and can refer them. Families do have to have one child in their family under the age of 18. Next slide, please. And Heart Room has proven success. It is a program that it was started in 2018 with a pilot of 6 families. It's now grown. Currently, we serve 12 families in the program. I think when we wrote the grant, we were at 11, but we've since enrolled another family, and 12 is the caseload, the capacity for the program. But families who have graduated the program have had awesome success that is included on this slide. Financial literacy, transportation, education, employment. Even one family who's graduated the program has purchased their own home, which is really, really exciting. Next slide, please. Perfect. Anyone have any questions?
Thank you so much. We'll transition to questions.
Awesome.
One specific question. Part of your application, it appears you have just one family in the Fitchburg community. In addition to that, this is a 3-year support program. Is the total grant amount specifically for that one family for the duration of that 3 years, or do you have that distributed in a different manner?
Nope, it is fully for that one family in the Southdale neighborhood for their duration of the program.
Thanks for that clarification.
Yeah, last year's grant paid for maybe like the first 2 years or something of them being in the program. And then this year's grant would then pay for the third year in the program, third of 3 years. Yeah. I was wondering, oh, okay. What does rental support mean? So, you're actually like paying the rent for this person. And so then I'm just trying to think through. So then the money goes to the landlord of whatever. Okay. Gotcha. Thank you.
Yeah. So we pay a portion of the rent. The family, like the subsidy will never cover the full amount of the rent. And that's not the program design. Obviously, we want to promote self-sufficiency and independence by program exit, but we do pay directly to the landlord that set amount that the family chooses that given month. But it is never, or very rarely, the full amount of the rent. I guess it could be occasionally, but not more than a few months max.
Outside of the one child requirement, what are other key qualification requirements for your program and the grant itself?
Yeah, families in the program do have to be in connection with Joining Forces for Families or the Rise Early Childhood Initiative. And then they do have to have one child under the age of 18 or age of 10, I'm sorry. But those are the only requirements for the program other than experiencing homelessness or housing instability, obviously. And Heart Room is unique because it is one of our community's only housing programs that doesn't accept referrals from coordinated entry, which is our community's like entry system for a lot of homeless services programs or housing programs in our community. So it actually captures this unique subset of people who don't qualify for coordinated entry. So families experiencing homelessness are often experiencing doubled up homelessness, which looks like couch surfing at someone's apartment or staying in someone's basement or staying with a family member. They're experiencing homelessness, but they're not experiencing what the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development defines as literal homelessness, so they don't qualify for a lot of the services that are available in our community. Heart Room, they do qualify for, and it is one of like the very, very few, if not the only programs in our community that captures that that target audience, if that makes sense.
Thanks much.
Mm-hmm.
Other questions? Well, thank you so much for jumping on early, and thank you for everything you're doing, and that's a wrap.
Awesome. Thank you all. Have a wonderful night.
You as well. Okay, let's look back at the agenda. Okay. Wonderful. That was agenda item 5A. All right, moving on to agenda item 6, report from department.
There's no updates at this time. The next meeting will be April 2nd, where we'll talk about who will receive funding.
Are there any updates on the hub project at all?
Yeah, the hub is still slated to be finished towards the end of the summer, so construction is going along as planned, and if that changes, I'll let you guys know if the hub will open later or sooner.
And any clarity around the Verona Road Teen Center second?
Oh, well, I have some information on that. So basically, because of budgetary problems that the mayor is having, the decision was not to proceed with the next phase of that. I did get a response to the email that I sent, and she talked about it a little bit at our last council meeting because I asked the question. So apparently Joe Maldonado is looking to try to find some other sources of funding to operate the center. So that's where it sits right now. As far as remodeling an existing building or building a center, that's something we can probably do, but they're looking at about $200,000 a year to operate it. And that's a problem.
Thank you for the clarification.
Jessica, can I bring you back to the other thing for your report? So what's our going through this the first time through? Oh, sorry. It was on.
Yeah, but
going through this the first time, what is our process now as we get to our next meeting and we review all these? So what do you need from us before the meeting? Are we going to do it all in the meeting? I wanted to know what the next steps are because there were some great presentations tonight. And even reading through all of them and then hearing them is made me look at things differently. You got it. So what is our next steps?
Yeah, so the document that I've sent you guys where you'll do the scoring, those will be due in 2 weeks. So the 19th is when I will need those documents. And then I'll kind of go through and aggregate the data. And at the meeting on the 2nd, I'll come with staff recommendations for funding based on the data. And then there'll be some deliberation at that meeting. And ultimately, you guys will decide who gets funding, how much funding. So essentially what I need from you is in 2 weeks to have the document filled out, the scoring document that you have available filled out. So that way I can, like I said, aggregate that data and have it for you so you can all review at that meeting on the 2nd.
And they're all online. You click one and then you go through it and give your ranking. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Follow-up question.
Yes.
So there's all these questions, right, that we're kind of rating folks. And then there's a question at the end, do you recommend funding or not? What do you see as a relationship between the scoring and the recommendation for funding? And do you, like, is the assumption that the higher scores would then lead to a recommendation for funding necessarily?
The recommendation, for me, like if I were to approach this, obviously I'm not scoring, but the recommendation is kind of to filter out like who of you guys you don't feel like needs funding. So then staff can look at like, okay, majority said like no funding for this. So it would help a little bit with kind of filtering through some things.
Or possibly that they shouldn't be funded through this particular grant, not necessarily that they don't need funding, but like,
Yes. Yeah. Does that help clarify things?
So there could be a strong grant application that we may not recommend funding for another reason. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any more questions about the next steps?
Can we clarify the total amount of funds available actually?
Yes, that's a great question. So let me get on my laptop here. And so we are rolling over some funds. We had 3 applications last year that did not take their funding. So I need to do some math. I think we have an extra
That's
14.
okay. You can get that back to us in a correspondence with an exact number. That would be more ideal.
I think we have around 140.
Oh, 140. Okay.
Yes.
Somehow I heard 134, so it's 140?
Yes, because we had another application from last year that decided to.
Thank you.
That did not feel comfortable taking the funds that they received.
Just an anecdotal comment, the food pantry requests all totaled together roll to about $60,000. And I think food is something that is on everybody's radar these days. So that's just an FYI for you as you look at these.
In the follow-up email that I send you guys, another thing, and we won't discuss now, but in the email, thinking about if we want to fund a certain amount, since a lot of people are requesting full funding, I'll probably send out a poll to get like, if we want to fund, I was looking at, it looks like if we want to fund 10 fully, that's possible with the amount of funding that we have right now. So that would also help when we're deliberating, understanding we can work with 10 applications roughly.
Should that be documented in your scoring documents, or do you prefer that in a different correspondence?
I'll probably send that in a different correspondence about how many we fund and how that'll look.
Gotcha.
Are any of the 3 applicants from last year who did not receive funding in the end, are any of them reapplicants this year?
That's a good question.
No.
I just want to follow up really quickly to that last question. So there's a question on this is last year's evaluation, so maybe it's not up to date, but there's a question that, if you answered yes to recommend funding, identify the amount. And so it sounds like there's certain number that we can fund fully, but also there's that option of not funding more, right? Just wanted to, okay.
Yeah, we don't have to fund them all fully. In the past, we've partially funded them. So yeah, I'll have a more ironed out questions for you guys of do we want to partially fund a lot or fully fund less to gauge what the committee's feeling.
And undispersed or undistributed funds from this year pretty much just carries over into the next year.
Correct.
For the record, I will also be abstaining from scoring in your document.
The other thing I want to add is the original document that I sent out, I changed the questions around a little bit from that document, because some of them were more statements, and so I tried to clarify the questions a little bit more. So when you're going through, it's framed as a question and not a statement, and you're evaluating on a scale.
I would like to, as I've mentioned, just so it's on the record, I would like to have a spreadsheet that shows all the applicants, and if they applied last year, how much did they ask for, how much did we give them, and what are they requesting this year?
Yeah.
There's somewhere, some of those are going to be blank, but that's okay. I think we have more applicants this year, don't we?
Yeah. Did you see the spreadsheet that I forwarded to everybody? There was like a link in one of the emails that I sent. Okay. That spreadsheet that I created personally, it has all of that information. I mean, I went back all the way to 2018 and I listed out everybody who applied in 2018, everybody who listed. Yeah, it's got everything in there.
I want to see that.
And it's got it's in it should be in your email.
Well, I'll look it up.
And when I could find like denial reasons, I wrote that in one of the columns, and it's got information on how much was requested, how much they received, try and find that.
I'll make it my highest priority.
The question is, when did I send that? That's a great question. I do not remember. I can also resend it. Oh, it was in the email that was potentially a concern with open meeting laws. So I apologize for that. I sent it 13 days ago, February 20th, 1:38 p.m. But hey, now it's in the record that so it's not an issue with open meetings maybe, that I sent an email that includes this master spreadsheet of all past and present applicants.
Look at that.
It's got a link right there.
It's a Google Doc.
Oh, it's a Google Doc. Yeah, right. I'll share it again.
I don't have it. Oh, hold on. And I got strategic plan. That's all I got.
There's an email string that it's part of. So it's the email string. So the email string is dated February 20th, and there's like 10 emails in this string. There's several from Jessica. There's one from Caitlin. There's one from Deanna. You even had a email response in here. So it's buried in this string, and the title of it is regarding update on 2025 grants. So if you can find that subject line.
I also just sent right now the link to all members of the committee, just that link there. New email chain, so that's not buried anymore.
And that would be even easier. Look at that. There it is.
Got it.
I mean, I feel like something like that could also be useful, like on our website or something. I mean, maybe with like, not with my personal notes on it, but like, who applied, how much they requested, how much they received. I feel like that could be useful information for everybody to have.
I don't see why I couldn't post it on the website, but I'll ask and double check to make sure that we can, maybe we can and can't put out there.
Okay, wonderful. That was report from department. Announcements, agenda item 7. Nothing happening. Cool. Okay, wonderful. Does anybody want to make a motion for adjournment?
So
This was a
moved.
long move.
Second.
Yay! All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? No, motion carries unanimously. We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Bye, Scott.